I've seen people's hearts change, and I've seen the biblical message challenge people to think critically and use their heart, soul, mind, and strength to love the Lord Jesus, not just with their heart and soul, but starting to love it with their mind, not just the church to feel religion, but to start to think religion. I think I've challenged people to think critically and intellectually about their faith that seeks understanding. I've seen people's hearts change. I've seen communities grow. Community is not sameness; it deals with diversity and different types of people. And when we have different types of people, we can have genuine community. It's not same, and they can feel comfortable being themselves when they're accepted into a community. Basically, it's the proclamation of the gospel, though, that can change people's lives and grow community. I've always believed people are hungry for the gospel and want God desperately in their lives. I think a lot of the community people, secular modern people, are afraid to come to church in a building sometimes, but they want God, and I think we need to meet them halfway. One time had a musical concert out on the front yard, and a lot of people from the community came and sat across the street, kind of afraid to engage our community, but they were there. And then I noticed that Easter Sunday sunrise service, I wanted to have one in the park with the Ministerial Alliance and with in a community around Springfield, um, and it was reluctant to go through, and it was a cold morning, but it went through 45 degrees. We had over 50 people in the park that day on a cold morning, and it worked. And they went to the breakfast in the church and devoured the food. And I said, we ought to try this next year. Next year, it was real warm at a country club golf course. And when we had a late start because the cars kept coming in, and I was amazed that all the cars, over 100 people came to that Easter Sunday sunrise on a warm Sunday morning at a country club. And I knew that people are hungry. They want the gospel, but I think they're reluctant to come inside some of our buildings, and we need to meet them halfway. That's a good story from reaching people where they're at. Learn from your mistakes. Constructive criticism can always be painful at first, but it is also can be helpful. I had an old minister say to me once, "Bitter or better?" And when you think about it, I decided to get better and not bitter. We can grow and change and learn from our mistakes. They're not a whole lot of fun at first when people point them out, but most of the time they're very constructive and they can help you in the long run. Bitter or better? I decided I think I better get better. I've hung in there 31 years. I'm afraid we are headed in religion for selling out to emotionalism rather than religious experience. And I think it's a problem. It could be due to our technology, which is a fast paced means, but no one knows really the ends of where we're going with all this technology. And we're selling out, I think, for emotionalism in religion rather than religious experience. And it could be a problem. Methodism, we're big on experience, tradition, reason. I've got some friends that are urging me to go back down to Florida, Tampa, St. Pete area. I'm a Marshall University graduate. I follow Marshall football, the Thundering Herd. I grew up in that environment. I follow Marshall sports. I went from West Virginia. I grew up. I might go back down and start teaching in the community colleges where I taught before. I taught political science and philosophy, world religions, and American government. I have several master's degrees. I enjoy teaching. I grew up in a university environment. So I'm seriously thinking about going back down to the Florida area with some Marshall alumni urging me.